Hot Boys was you, Dooney, Sterling, and Mosquito.
But it was more than that, but everybody like started going to jail, started hanging out.
Besides that, you got the Wayne, Drake, Nicki, the Hot Boys. Before that, the Ross and Cali, all them niggas come from under my umbrella. Every last one of them niggas. Ain't too many niggas ain't been up under my umbrella. If they say it or don't say it, all them niggas come from.
It's starting to look like Lil Wayne is officially done pretending everything is cool, because after Birdman went off on Turk during that Cash Money versus No Limit moment, fans started connecting dots fast. Wayne didn't say one word. He didn't have to. His silence said more than any interview ever could. You could feel the tension through the screen. Years of loyalty, history, and hurt sitting right behind Wayne's eyes. When Birdman said, "It's a lot of moving parts with me and Wayne, and it's important to me that I fix that," people instantly knew this cut deeper than label politics.
It's a lot of moving parts with me and Wayne, and it's important to me that I fix that.
This was family business, because these weren't just co-workers. They were the Hot Boys, kids who came out the mud together, turned pain into platinum, and built Cash Money records brick by brick. Wayne defended Birdman for years like he was his real pops. But now that same bond looks fractured, maybe even broken. And when you look back, the money fights, the lawsuits, the delays, the tension, fans say the silence from Wayne isn't anger, it's disappointment. Because Wayne built his whole brand on loyalty, only to watch the family crack show again and again. This whole thing hit a boiling point at Complex Con on October 25th, 2025. The night was supposed to be legendary. Cash Money versus No Limit, a celebration for the culture, a moment fans had waited decades for. But instead of unity, they got drama. A live meltdown nobody expected. Birdman grabbed the mic and in seconds flipped the entire vibe upside down. He yelled out, "Shout out to Turk, you a lil boy. You ain't here. We gon' work with you when we feel like working with you." The venue fell dead silent. The crowd froze like somebody hit pause. People weren't even breathing. It was one of the most awkward moments hip-hop has seen in years. And then, boom, social media exploded.
I understand our language, you feel me? But I got to say this for me. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Y'all know y'all can't with me when y'all wanna with me. And I just wanna leave it at that, man. Like we gotta stop sending out these mixed messages to people because y'all, don't do that. You know what I'm talking about? Respectful.
Clips everywhere. Fans tagging Turk, old interviews resurfacing, people trying to figure out what set Birdman off this time. Within minutes, Turk's name was trending across X and Instagram. Later that night, Turk went live, calm, controlled, but clearly done with the disrespect. You could hear the frustration in his voice, but he stayed solid. Then he said the line that shook the whole internet, "Give me my percentage." The comment hit like a punch to the gut. Fans instantly knew this wasn't about an onstage moment. This was about years of business tension, loyalty issues, and money that fans believe may never have been resolved. Suddenly, Birdman's rant didn't seem random. It seemed like old issues resurfacing, stuff fans had suspected for years but never heard said out loud. And while everyone was arguing online, Lil Wayne stayed silent. No reaction and no face, no comment. And that quiet, it spoke louder than a diss track, because everyone already knew what that silence meant.
I met Turk, shout out to Turk, you little you ain't here, but you. We gon' you when we won't you. You heard me?
Damn!
We gon' with that when we won't.
At the time, it was impossible to have any type of genuine or real feelings. I was on stage. I was in performance mode. I was trying to think about the words for the next song. Honestly, so I was just trying to make sure he didn't say it at a time where it was my verse and I messed up.
To understand how deep this goes, you gotta rewind the story way back before the fame, before the Billboard hits, before the private jets and platinum plaques, back to when Cash Money wasn't a label, it was a lifeline. The name Hot Boys wasn't some clever marketing idea dreamed up in a boardroom. It came straight from the heart of the Magnolia projects in New Orleans, long before music videos, fame, or platinum plaques. Back in the late 80s, the original Hot Boys were real street legends. Sterling, Dooney, Mosquito, and Terrence "Gangster" Williams, Birdman's older brother. These weren't rappers or entertainers. Their name carried weight in New Orleans long before Cash Money ever existed. Everybody in the city knew who they were. Everybody respected the name. But the streets don't play fair. One by one, those original names either passed away or ended up locked up. The only one who lived long enough to see what the Hot Boys name became was Gangster Williams. And by then, the entire meaning had changed. Birdman took that street legacy and flipped it into something totally different, something global, something powerful. When he used the Hot Boys name for a rap group, it wasn't random. It was strategic. He took a legend whispered about in New Orleans and turned it into a worldwide brand. From Project Hallways to BET, MTV, radio stations across America, the name exploded. It was genius. But it also meant that legacy would forever be tied to Birdman's empire, for better or worse. By the mid-90s, Birdman and Slim had officially turned Cash Money Records into one of the strongest independent labels in the South. But they needed a crew, a new generation who could represent New Orleans the way the original Hot Boys once did.
Y'all see what's going on. I think No Limit won. That's my honest opinion. They was more organized. They was grown up about it.
Enter the new Hot Boys, Lil Wayne, Juvenile, Turk, and BG, young, hungry, and unstoppable. Birdman saw the potential instantly and moved fast. He treated them like stars before they even had mainstream hits. Soon, the Hot Boys were everywhere. Mixtapes, music videos, magazines, TV shows, summer anthems, you name it. Chains, cars, swagger, and loyalty to Birdman like he was everybody's father figure. And fans ate it up. Albums like Get It How You Live and Guerrilla Warfare didn't just sell, they built a kingdom. The chemistry, the charisma, the brotherhood, people believed in it. But behind the shine, fans say the story wasn't as perfect as it looked. The loyalty Birdman preached came with strings attached.
How you, man?
What's up, Moolah?
I'm bullying. How you, good?
You already know.
Yeah, man. How Lil B? How Priya?
Man, Brian good, man. He graduated from college, man.
I know, man.
He got his own little spot, you heard me?
Man, what, man?
Brooke graduated.
Patched, heavy ones. He controlled contracts, publishing, release dates, and the business side of everything. To some outsiders, it looked like Birdman owned the entire machine, and everyone else was just riding in it. At first, no one questioned him. He gave them fame, opportunity, a path out the projects. But as the money grew, the confusion did too. Whispers started. Numbers didn't make sense. Checks didn't match the hits. Then came the first major crack. Juvenile left. Fans online said he walked away over money issues, and that exit shook the entire camp. Then BG followed, publicly venting frustration about the label. Next, Turk got locked up. And when he came home years later, he said he expected to see the money he earned, but found nothing. Fans ate that story up, believing there was way more going on behind the scenes than the public ever knew. Through all of this chaos, Lil Wayne stayed loyal. He defended Birdman in every interview, called him Pops, kept the family image alive.
I gave Wayne about $400 to $500 million. Drake got about $500 million, and Nicki got about $300-400 million out my pocket. Nope.
But even Wayne eventually started feeling the tension too. People close to him say the math wasn't mathing. The answers weren't clear, the money didn't add up. Birdman wasn't just the CEO, he was the gatekeeper. Nothing moved unless he approved it. And if an artist stepped out of line, fans say their career might freeze instantly. Wayne wasn't a kid anymore. He had seen what happened to Juvenile, BG, and Turk. He had watched the empire crack from the inside, so he started preparing quietly. Smart, strategic, calculated. He built his own companies, formed his own alliances, set the stage for something bigger.
It's all love though. We ain't doing no tripping over here. Big YNT, man. You know, YNT. That's what's going on over here.
By 2015, Wayne had reached his breaking point. The rumors, the delays, the money confusion, it was too much. That's when he filed the massive lawsuit against Cash Money. A legal battle fans still argue about today. He claimed he was owed advances in payment for finishing the Carter feud. The album fans never thought they'd hear. To the fans, that lawsuit wasn't just business. It was the moment Wayne finally chose himself over the loyalty he'd carried since childhood. And from that moment on, everything changed. But that wasn't the end of it. The moment Wayne filed his lawsuit, another shockwave hit the culture. He revealed he believed Birdman hadn't just held back payments for his music, but for Young Money Entertainment too. That one detail flipped the entire hip-hop world upside down. Young Money wasn't just any label. It was the birthplace of Drake, Nicki Minaj, Tyga, and an entire generation of artists who changed the sound of rap forever. So when fans heard Wayne might have been fighting for money connected to the very label he built, people were stunned. The man Wayne called Pops, the man he defended for years, was now at the center of a legal fight that tore the Cash Money family apart. To the public, it didn't look like business anymore. It looked like betrayal, millions missing, friendships cracked, and Wayne's silence hitting harder than any diss track could. Birdman denied everything. He went on interviews saying he never blocked Thought Carter fee, never held anything hostage, never mistreated Wayne. But behind the scenes, fans say Wayne was furious. That album was supposed to be one of the biggest comebacks in rap history. Personal, emotional, years in the making, and instead, it sat in limbo, gathering dust while Birdman insisted everything was fine. The culture was begging for the album, but Wayne couldn't release it. He was stuck between lawyers, contracts, and the very label he helped build. Finally, in 2018, the two sides reached a settlement, rumored to be around $10 million. But even that didn't end the tension. Right after the settlement, Birdman hopped online, bragging he gave Wayne $400 to $500 million. And the internet immediately called cap. Nobody believed those numbers. Nobody. And even though Wayne and Birdman hugged it out for the cameras, even though the pictures looked peaceful, the fans could see the cracks. It felt staged, forced, like a reunion designed for headlines, not healing. Birdman has defended himself publicly for years. He always says everyone got paid, that people don't understand the business, and that Cash Money generated hundreds of millions through Universal. But the math never quite matches the receipts, and fans notice it every time. What makes the whole situation sting even more? Birdman shows off wealth like it's second nature. Private jets, diamond watches, $10,000 outfits, custom cars, massive mansions, all over social media. Meanwhile, a lot of the artists who helped build the empire are still working non-stop, rebuilding careers, or still waiting on the royalties fans believe they earned decades ago. It's hard to watch, because to many fans, it feels like the man who built his empire on the backs of young talent is living large, while some of those same artists are trying to pick up the pieces. The Cash Money legacy was built on family and loyalty, but when the money started talking, that family bond got tested to the breaking point. For a moment, it looked like everything had finally calmed down. No new drama, no new shots, no public fallouts. Then in 2022, the plot twist nobody saw coming dropped out of nowhere. Terrence Gangster Williams, Birdman's older brother and one of the original Hot Boys, was released from prison after more than 20 years behind bars. His freedom sent shockwaves through hip-hop. Fans didn't know what to think, and Birdman looked completely blindsided. Gangster Williams wasted no time. He jumped straight into interviews, telling stories about the real Hot Boys, the ones from the projects, and how the name came from real life, not marketing. He broke down the early New Orleans grind, the hustles, the struggles, the origins of Cash Money, and the way the label borrowed its identity from actual neighborhood legends. And then came the part that had fans' jaws on the floor. Gangsta started talking in ways that made long-running fan theories suddenly make sense. He didn't accuse anybody of crimes, he didn't drag anyone's name. But the way he talked about loyalty, legacy, and how things changed over the years, it was the closest thing to confirmation many fans felt they'd ever get. He basically validated what listeners had been saying for years, that the Cash Money story wasn't just music. It was a complex mix of legacy, loyalty, family ties, and business decisions that left scars nobody fully healed from. For years, people speculated. People theorized. People tried to understand why the Cash Money family kept falling apart. And now, with Gangster Williams back in the world, speaking openly, fans felt like the missing puzzle pieces were finally falling into place. For years, Birdman used the Hot Boys name, their street history, and pieces of their legacy to help build Cash Money's brand. But fans say he never truly gave credit to the original men behind it. He took the reputation of a real New Orleans crew, flipped it into a global movement, made millions off it, and then, according to the culture's memory, the original names slowly faded out of the story. And when people asked Birdman how he felt about his older brother Terrence, Gangster Williams finally coming home, his reaction, or better yet, his silence, spoke volumes to fans. No welcome post, no public acknowledgement, nothing. To fans, that silence felt louder than any diss track. It made people believe that in Birdman's world, loyalty flows one way, toward him. Now, almost 30 years later, the Hot Boys legacy is still in limbo. BG is finally home again. Juvenile stays touring and dropping classics. Turk is out here doing interviews, still speaking his truth about loyalty and broken promises. And Lil Wayne, he's too wealthy, too scarred, and too far removed to ever look back the same way. What used to be a brotherhood built on trust feels, to fans, like a long story about betrayal, silence, and respect that got lost somewhere along the way. Now that the dust has settled, the truth about Cash Money's legacy hits harder than ever. What started as a dream in the heart of New Orleans grew into one of hip-hop's biggest and most complicated dynasties. The name Birdman still holds weight, No denying that, but so does the shadow that follows him. Because every time he flashes diamonds or steps off a private jet, people remember the stories. The lawsuits, the contract drama, the former artists who say they walked away confused or underpaid, and the empire that some fans believe was built on loyalty until the money got loud. And here's the craziest part. Even with all the tension, Birdman and Lil Wayne's connection will always be deeper than business. They built an empire together. They changed the sound of rap together. They introduced the world to Drake and Nicki Minaj, two artists who still carry that Young Money stamp with pride. But the loyalty that once held them tight eventually got replaced by contracts, lawyers, court dates, and silence. Silence that says more than words ever could. And now the Hot Boy's name, once born in the trenches, has become a bittersweet symbol. A reminder of street loyalty that turned into a global movement, and then into a lesson about how fame and money can twist the meaning of family. Fans still dream of a real reunion. Wayne, Juvenile, Turk, and BG sharing a stage again. No lawsuits, no grudges, no filters, just history being made. But deep down, everybody knows how unlikely that is. Too much pain, too many burned bridges, too many secrets buried under that Cash Money logo. Even now, new artists look at their story like a warning. Never sign blind, never confuse business with family, never let loyalty keep you from asking the real questions, especially about money. Birdman may still be living large, surrounded by luxury and legacy, but the whispers never stop. People still ask how a label that gave the world so much could leave behind so many fractured relationships. The Hot Boys gave their youth, their energy, their talent, and their loyalty. And in return, they got a story that's still unfolding decades later. In the end, the music lives forever. But the truth? That's the part that keeps haunting the Cash Money legacy. One beat, one lawsuit, one silence at a time. Fans keep begging for a reunion. But let's be real, some wounds go too deep. Birdman may have built the brand that made history, but in the process, fans believe he broke the bond that held the Hot Boys together. They weren't just another rap crew, they were a brotherhood forged in struggle, loyalty, and survival. They came from the same blocks, chased the same vision, and created a legacy that changed music forever. But once money, ego, pride, and power entered the room, that unbreakable bond started cracking until it finally shattered. And now, with Birdman still firing slick shots and flaunting his success, with Turk speaking his truth, with BG rebuilding, with Juvenile standing strong, and with Wayne choosing silence over smoke, it's obvious this story is far from over. Every new interview, every quiet moment, every flex from Birdman reminds fans that behind the private jets and plaques was a family that never fully healed. Because when you strip away the fame, the contracts, and the companies, what's left is simple. A group of men who built something legendary, but couldn't keep it together, and that's what hurts the most. So here's the real question fans ask now. If Birdman still owes them millions, what else does he owe that money can't fix? Is it recognition, respect, an apology, or is it too late for all of that? One thing's for sure, the Hot Boys' legacy will forever live in hip-hop history, even if the people behind it never stand on the same stage again. If you made it this far, drop a like, hit the comments, share this with someone who lived through the Cash Money era, and be sure to subscribe, because this saga is still unfolding, and trust, we'll be breaking it all down next time.